Hello! It's so bright. Oh my gosh. And you're not even high enough. Okay, let's see. Oh no, not really. There we go. There we go! There we go, girl! Alright, now we're in focus. Is it gonna stay in focus? Alright. Okay. Oh gosh, okay. Let's just like center ourselves for a second. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I asked you guys on Facebook what look you wanted to see this week, and a majority of you guys said my go-to makeup look over the gold smoky eye that I did on Instagram that you all guys seem to really like. So I'm definitely still going to be doing that, maybe in the next couple weeks. Today I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys my everyday makeup, and what I mean by that is if I do everything, which is what I'm going to do for you guys today on camera, it's everything, all the steps of my makeup that I like to do to make myself look my quote-unquote best, where I feel the most confident, but not necessarily use a bunch of new products. The thing is, if I run out of time, I can stop. Depending on how much time I leave myself in the morning or wherever I'm going, then I know I can adjust it. And this is also something that you can put on in the morning, go to work, run your errands, whatever you have to do, but then if you want to dress it up a little bit that night, you can just, you know, maybe smoke out a little bit more on the lash line. Or you can just intensify your wing a little bit, add a darker lip color, redo your contour. But let's get to the makeup, and I'm going to go ahead and do a full face. Like I said, this is something that I like to do on the everyday basis. Okay, so first we're going to start off with foundation, and I'm just going to use some of my everyday favorites, and I know that I'm not going to have to be messing with the products, I'm not going to have to be touching it up as much throughout the day. They work well on my skin. Starting off, I'm going to use the Smashbox Photo Finish Foundation Primer, and this is in the pore minimizing one. I like to put it in the areas that I tend to get the most oily throughout the day. I'm kind of just warming it up with my fingers a little bit. And I'm going to put it around my nose, in my T-zone area, areas in these areas that my pores are a little bit larger, which is what this is going to help do, is going to create kind of a blank slate and kind of try to even out any imperfections and kind of just make your skin more ready to cling on to the foundation that we're going to. Okay, once I feel like that's all set into the skin, I'm actually going to be taking the Real Techniques version of the Beauty Blender. Typically I use the Real Beauty Blenders. They are my favorite for applying foundation. It really helps lock in your foundation on your skin and lay it out so evenly, and I feel like I'm not irritating my skin with it. Sometimes if I use a brush I get a lot of redness around my nose and around my chin area, places that I already get irritation and redness, obviously hormonally, just, you know, I'm a woman. So I'm going to be trying this one out today to kind of see how it stands up against the Beauty Blender, and I'll let you guys know. This is my first time using it, and I did dampen it underneath the water and squeeze it a couple times and then squeeze it in a paper towel a couple times as well. So going in with my favorite foundation at the moment, this is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte. What I'm going to do is take a bit on the back of my hand and just start applying it. This foundation has become my go-to foundation. It's light enough and around the same tone of my skin that the lightest shade is what works for me. Sorry, I'm going to be talking while I'm applying so that this video isn't an hour and a half long. And I feel like since my skin is so oily, it really stays on throughout the day. I'm just taking time to press this into my skin. So far this Beauty Blender doesn't seem bad at all. It seemed to take a little bit longer to blend it out, but nothing dramatic. So if you're on a budget and a Beauty Blender just doesn't seem to be something that you can afford, I definitely suggest the Real Techniques one. I think it's a great dupe for that. I'm just taking extra product and putting it in the areas that I think need more coverage on my skin and that I have a lot of redness or imperfections. I actually think it takes a fraction of the time that using your hands does. And I intentionally avoided my under eye area and my lid area because I'm going to use an eye primer on my lid and I'm going to conceal my under eyes later. So going in with my favorite eye primer, this is a MAC Pro Longwear Paint Pot in Painterly. A MAC Pro Longwear Paint Pot in Painterly.
A MAC Pro Longwear Paint Pot in Painterly. A MAC Pro Longwear Paint Pot in Painterly.
Anyways, I really like these to prime my lids. Sometimes I'll use a brush to apply this. Other times I'll just do what I'm doing right now and just go in with my finger. Either way, I don't think it makes a big difference. And now I just want to set that with any kind of powder. I'm actually going to be trying a new powder today. I'm going to use this to set the rest of my face as well. But I'm going to be going in with the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Powder. I've used it once already just on clean skin, just with moisturizer, and I really, really liked it. I'm curious to see how it sits over the foundation. So I'm going to be using that to set my concealer. And this will really help if you have oily eyelids. Setting anything liquid with a powder helps to set it and make it last longer. Typically, I just use MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Light. So then I like to do my eyebrows. I'm just going to do this really quickly, but I'm basically just following the shape of my brows and then elongating the tail to around where I want it, and I'm using very little product on my brush. And I'm just going to shape them out really quickly, lightly fill them in, and then I'll fix anything I have to with concealer. And putting more of the darkest product towards the end of my brow. If you guys want an in-depth brow tutorial, just let me know. No, I don't want to waste what's left. I'm just going back in and filling in any holes, spots in my brow. I'll probably take a little bit of that product off, but we'll see how the other brow comes out. And I'm just going to fast forward through that, starting like now. Sometimes I'll go in with brow gel before the pomade. Sometimes I'll do it after. And since I'm doing all of the steps today, I'm going to go ahead and go in with some concealer and clean up around the brows and shape them. But if you don't have time for this on a daily basis, or if you don't want to, don't worry about it. I avoid putting a ton of concealer towards the front of my brow. Maybe if I want to just like square this out a little bit more or clean it up, I will. But I try not to put as much so that they look a little bit more natural towards the front of the brow. I'm actually going to go in with the brow wiz now, just to kind of help sharpen up everything. And this is in dark brown, so it's a little bit lighter. Oops. That's why I shouldn't talk. Even enough. And I try to do this on a daily basis as well. I'm going to go in with clear brow gel. If I'm in a real pinch, and I mean like the struggle is real pinch, like you have time for like some powder, maybe some mascara, maybe some lip balm pinch, all I'll do on those days is just take clear brow gel and just kind of lock my hairs into the direction that I want them so that they look fuller. So as you can see, I'm kind of just brushing it upwards. Smoothing it down over here. And this is like super glue for your brows. Oops. Now that brows are done, I'm going to go ahead and move into the eyes. Since this is just going to be like my natural everyday look, I'm not going to do a ton. I'm just going to use the shadows that I know create kind of like just a neutral crease in my eye area. Sometimes I'll do more of like cool tones on a day like this, so maybe I'll use something like Barcelona Beach or Unexpected by Makeup Geek. But more often than not, I'm going to take a combination of these to make more of like a warm to neutral crease. And this is Peach Smoothie and Creme Brulee. by Makeup Geek. And if I want to go a little more of an extra step, a little bit, if I have a little more time, I'll take this shade in Cocoa Bear to deepen up the crease a little more. Taking a big fluffy blending brush, this one's by Sigma. I'm just going to take and start working this color in the crease. Being pretty messy, it doesn't have to be very precise, just bringing some color. And since I set my eye primer with powder, it'll be easier to blend everything. Now, since I have slightly hooded eyes, I try to keep my eyeshadows a little bit above my natural crease and kind of bring it out a bit this way to elongate my very round eyes and face. I'm just blending, blending, blending. On most days, like I said, I might just stop right here and that's all I'll do. If I'm in a real hurry, I'll just use bronzer to do what I just did. Today I am going to go ahead and darken up the crease with Cocoa Bear, using a slightly smaller fluffy brush from Morphe. I'm keeping a majority of this darker color on the outer eye, but I am almost doing a slight cut crease over here just to kind of give myself the illusion of a bigger eyelid. Make my eyes look a little bit bigger. But everything stays very blended and blown out. Now it's looking a little warm for me right now in my eyes, and I'm not a huge fan of keeping it that warm. So I'm actually going to go back in with one of the first shades that I showed you to keep more of a cool tone, which is Barcelona Beach. Just to kind of cool these tones down just a little bit. Once again, just blending everything out, making sure there's no more harsh lines. And if I really want to make sure everything's blended out, I'll take that original big fluffy brush with a little bit of peach smoothie. Blend it all out again. Okay. Now some days I go in and I'll do something on my lid, some days I won't. Like I said, just because of my time. Today I think I'm going to go in and go ahead and do a lid color, just my favorite lid color on a daily basis. And I use them in my last tutorial as well, but I'm going to go in with Grandstand and Starry Eyed by Makeup Geek, and these are their foiled eyeshadows, which are just my favorite formula of any eyeshadow. They're fantastic. Grandstand, and just apply baby all over my lid. As you can see, in my inner eye, I'm extending it a bit above my natural crease and into here, and then keeping it low over here. And once again, that's just something I do since my eyes are partially hooded. And then just to make the lid color pop a little bit more, completely optional, once again, I'm gonna go in with the Starry Eyed foiled eyeshadow by Makeup Geek, just on like the high point of my lid, just to make it pop a little bit more. I am going to go in today with a wing, just because I personally like to wear a wing basically whenever I can. I think that it's more flattering on my eyes, and it's a little bit more difficult since they are partially hooded, but it's just something that I like to do every day. Most of the time I don't have time if I'm in a hurry, because it could take anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes depending on how cooperative the wing liner is being. Going in with my favorite tool to make a wing liner. I actually have one of these stocked up just in case this one runs out. This is the Makeup Forever ink liner, and it is a matte liner. A little felt tip brush. So that's an example of why you don't have to do a wing liner every day, because some days it does stuff like that. Guys, I'm a human like you. This is obviously a very large wing, very swoopy wing, but this is kind of the style that I like every day. I just kind of feel like it lifts my eye up and makes it more elongated, and I just find it, I don't know, I like a wing. At a certain point I have to force myself to stop, because if I keep messing with them, then, you know, I could spend forever just trying to make them even and perfect, but realistically we don't have the time to do that every day, most days, ever. Next I'm going to go with under eye concealer before I do my under eye makeup, just to kind of conceal the whole area, and it'll almost act as a primer for anything I put under the eyes. Going in pretty generously, so that it also serves as a highlight. And this is something I like to do every day if I have the time, just because I have some discoloration, and blend it out with my beauty blender using the pointed side. I can use this to kind of clean up my eyeshadow from earlier, especially if I didn't have a wing but I still wanted to create more of the illusion of elongating the eye. I could take this beauty blender and just softly cut the eyeshadow in that direction, which would be great if I decided to opt for like a smoky liner for time's sake. It does take a little bit longer to blend out concealer with this beauty blender from Real Techniques than the other one, but nothing dramatic. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of a cream contour using the Soleil de Tan de Chanel cream bronzer. I used it in my last video just to kind of start to create a base for my bronzing and contouring. I love this stuff. It creates such a natural finish. A lot of days, if I don't have much time, I'll just go in with this and maybe some blush. And I'm only doing this because I want to go in and set my under eye concealer with a powder, but I don't want the powder to fall down onto the rest of my face quite yet, because going in with a cream after that will be next to impossible. Because you want to do all liquid and cream products on your face first, and then set with a powder. I like to chop out my neck a little bit too, and my chin, to kind of hide my very obvious double chin. So some days I'll just stop there with my contour, but after I set my under eye concealer, I'm actually going to go ahead and add a little bit more. So now I'm just taking the lightest contour shade from the Kat Von D Shade Light palette, and kind of the cooler toned brown, more of like the ashy toned brown, since my skin is so pale. I don't want to go in with anything too warm, it will make my face start to look muddy. I'm just going in with a Luxie brush that I got in my Ipsy bag. I really like it for contouring. It's just the large angle brush. Now I'm going to go in and set my under eyes. And I'm just going to take a mixture of the banana shade and the lightest highlight matte shade with a large tapered face brush from Sigma. And I'm just going to plop that all over my under eye. set it so it won't move around. You can go in with a translucent powder for this, or if you don't want as much of an intense highlight under the under eye, just use a face powder. Now I'm going to go ahead and do my under eye makeup, going in with Cocoa Bear, my makeup key, again, on a flat definer brush from Sigma. I'm just going to line messily the majority of my under eye. Now I'm going in with a pencil brush by Sigma with a mixture of peach smoothie and creme brulee and just blending that out. I'm going to take a little bit more Cocoa Bear just to kind of darken up, just make it more smoky. I'm going to go ahead and set the rest of my face using the L'Oreal Infallible powder that I talked about earlier, just to kind of see. I'm going to go in with a bigger brush, because sometimes if I use too much powder, I start to get a little cakey. So far so good. Powder seems pretty nice. Now I'm just going to go in with a quick coat of mascara. I am going to be putting lashes on today, but obviously most days mascara is just the more convenient and obvious choice, but I want to show you guys a pair of lashes that you can get from the drugstore that look really natural and that you could wear on a daily basis if you wanted to. But these are the Ardell Naturals Demi Wispies. And this is obviously a multi-pack, which is great. These are really quick to apply. It doesn't take much time. So if I am wanting something a little more dramatic for my go-to look, or if I wanted to wear lashes that day, I'm using House of Lashes Black Lash Glue. But you want them to be somewhat tacky so that they don't start moving all over your eyes. And I like to just take a pair of tweezers, look down into a mirror, and just kind of set them on top of my lashes the closest I can get to the base. I like to take the end corners, kind of set them where they need to be. Then I like to squeeze my natural lashes and the strip of false lashes together to blend my natural lashes with the false ones, and just kind of press the lashes down into my lash line. They make the eye pop a lot more. Then I'm going to put some mascara on my bottom lash line, just with the MAC Giga Black Lash. I'm just going to put a little bit on these lashes. I'm going to go ahead and apply a highlight. I'm going to go in with Mary Luminizer by The Balm, which is my favorite highlighter. I'm doing this before blush so that I get kind of a natural glow. And I'm also going to take a blending brush and give myself a brow highlight with the same shade. Sometimes I like to just pop a little bit on this inner corner. I think it's flattering on me. If it's too much on you, then you can leave it out. And then going in with one of my favorite blushes, this is one of the Milani powder blushes in Romantic Rose, shade 1. I don't want to go too warm or too peachy. Okay, now for lips, I'm just going to go in with one of my favorites. I really like to use liquid matte lipsticks on a daily basis because they have a lot of staying power, and I personally like matte lips. If you want to just use a lip gloss, obviously you can. You can use a lip gloss over a matte lipstick. Some of my favorites are the Anastasia Beverly Hills liquid lipsticks. I like Pure Hollywood, but One that I find is a strong contender are the LA Splash liquid lipsticks. I really enjoy them. And this is in the shade Charmed, which is just kind of like a neutral to warm pink nude shade. That's still a little bit tacky. I want to make it a little bit more nude. So I'm going to go in with MAC Myth. And I'm just going to dab instead of swipe. Especially in the center. And I'll kind of leave the outer corners and the outside edges darker. Just to kind of give the appearance. Of bigger lips. That's pretty much my go-to everyday lip shade here. To set everything, I'm going to be using the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water. I wasn't a huge fan of this primer water as a primer water, but a friend of mine suggested to use it as a setting spray, and I love it as that. I feel like it really locks in my foundation and everything that's on my face and gives it a lot of staying power. Well guys, I think that is the end of this makeup tutorial. I hope that you guys liked it, and everything you need to know about this makeup look can be found in the description bar as always, as well as links to where you can get some of these products. Oh, I just got concealer in my hair. Oh, gosh. Oh.
Oh, gosh. Oh.
Oh, gosh. Oh.
I don't really care if the back part of my brow looks tattooed on. I just don't want the front part of my brow to look like it's tattooed on.
Don't worry about it, because if you fill in your brows, they're probably still better than most of these bitch brows.
Is this something that you... Oh, what am I doing? And it is a demi matte finish, oil free, and it says it's, you know, 24-hour foundation. I don't know if I would say that, but who wears foundation for 24 hours unless you're like, well, okay, unless you're like a stripper, which if that is the case, I apologize. I'm gonna go in with MAC Myth lipstick. Oh, that's not MAC Myth.
Excuse my lovely blemish that's just decided to come out and play.
And thank you for coming to my channel. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up button, because I know you're going to. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for sharing it with your friends. Thank you for sharing it with your animals. And on we'll go. And if you want something more natural than this, you don't want to do all these steps, don't do it. That's fine. If you don't feel like you need concealer under your eyes every day, then you don't have to. If you don't feel like you have to set with a ton of powder because, you know, you're dry enough that you think you'll probably be fine without setting it, don't do it. You know, that actually makes it easier for you to touch up later. But the point is, you can still do little things every day so that you feel confident and you feel beautiful. And to me, that's what makeup is. That's how I express being confident, and that's how I express something that I like about myself. Does that make sense? I play up the things that I like and tone down the things that I don't like so much, you know, because we all have those. And I do it in a way that makes me happy and that I enjoy the process. So a lot of times I'll take 30 minutes in the morning just to do my makeup. Do I sacrifice possibly eating breakfast? Yes, I do. But I do it anyways because I love to. And I hope that you guys start to love it too. And I hope that a lot of you guys that tell me, I can't do this and I can't blah 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 blah, I'm not able to do that. There's no way I can do what you're doing. I'm not creative enough. I don't have the skill. I don't have the product. That's crap, and you know it. You can use the cheapest products. I started using all e.l.f. products. e.l.f. is $1 to $3 at the drugstore, and they have a lot of great products for their prices. Actually, they have great makeup brushes, and that's what I started all the way across, but I just absorbed everything that I could so I could learn with it. And that's how I got to where I am now. And I'm no master artist. I'm not a professional makeup artist. I did not go to school. I'm 100% self-taught. I take classes online because I like to learn about it, but that's it. So, which means that any one of you can do exactly what I'm doing, can get your skill set to exactly where mine is. I was inspired by my best friend, and then it started a passion of my own, and I'm forever thankful for that. There's no, and there's no reason that you can't do winged liner. There's no reason that you can't contour. There's no reason, because you can learn it, and it's makeup. It washes right off. Before you get in the shower, before you go to bed at night, sit down and practice. That's what Jaclyn Hill did to get where Jaclyn Hill is. That's what her mom's advice to her always was. Before you go to bed, just sit down and play and teach yourself a new method. Teach yourself how to do a wing. Experiment with some products. You can use a cheap product. The e.l.f. eyeliner is $1 and it's great. And NYC makes a good liquid liner that's like, I think $3 at the drugstore. You can do it, I promise. And that whole rant was not supposed to happen, but apparently it was on my heart, so it came out. The important thing is that you like it and that you feel like you use makeup artistry to express yourself. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Okay. I don't think that I have anything else to say. Okay, see you guys next time.